What's up, everybody, and welcome to the second training on video marketing, building your brand with video. And what we're going to be talking about in this particular training is going to be how to script, distribute, and multi-purpose your video content. But if you did not watch the prior video where we spoke all about your video strategy and how important it is to dial in the right one for you and why we're doing it to begin with, watch that before you watch this one. So as long as you have, then we're going to go and get right on into it. So what we're really talking about, folks, is content creation. And we're going to go a little bit deeper than we did in the previous training. And everything you do in real estate is content, whether it's listings you're taking, whether it's case studies you're creating or clients you're serving, or it's just pictures you're sharing on social media of really, really cool stuff, or it's blogs you're writing or videos we're creating like what we're talking about here, or you're creating neighborhood videos or other community information. Everything you do is content. Small business owner interviews, it doesn't matter. And once you realize that everything you do is content, and you start realizing that the content you're going to create is going to be much like your own little HGTV series, right? Like last week, we talked about creating a show. And if you look at any of these shows on HGTV, they've already done a lot of the work for us. They've showed us what the appetite is for what people want to see on television. And because there's a whole damn channel dedicated to our profession, I don't understand why we overthink this so much. The content creation should be really easy, and it is. But content creation around your personal brand is what you want to dial in, because that's ultimately what people are going to remember. So, the reason why in the first training we created this show is because it's just like we're creating an HGTV show. If you have a show, what is the purpose of it? And that's going to determine the content that you create and how you create it many times, because you're simply just the host. And these videos are not about you. You don't need to sell people all the time on real estate or mortgage or whatever side of the business you're in. But it is your job to remind them that you exist. So when you create a show, every time you're publishing or you're creating content or you're distributing your content, it doesn't matter. Every single video people see will remind people that you're in real estate. So you don't necessarily have to hit them over the head with your calculator or your lockbox. So look at the content you have as an excuse to market your database and attract people just like you. That's exactly why we dialed in the content strategy. We spoke about it briefly last week. You have to be doing stuff that you're excited about doing. If I started doing a bunch of cooking videos, it's not going to be that authentic, and therefore nobody's going to watch them. So the key here is really figuring out what kind of content are you excited to create that you can see yourself doing long-term and over time. Because once you nail that, this should be fun. Then the key is you do not want to make your content boring. You want to make it authentic. So where most people start is, what kind of videos am I going to create? This is the biggest holdup. What do I say? How do I say it? I'm too fat. I don't like the way I look, or whatever it may be. But it's so important that once you define your strategy first, you'll know how to communicate through your brand. That's the key of having a brand. You cannot build a brand without creating a bunch of content all around it. It doesn't go the other way around. Someone who's not creating content and not in communication with anyone and no one knows exists doesn't have a brand. But someone who's consistently creating content on a consistent basis, putting in front of a bunch of people that are responding and engaging with it, well, you start to build one. So we'd like to build the show and then create content for the show, because the show will determine how you create videos, and it'll identify a way for you to find video styles that you like so that you can run with it. Video is not lead generation, and that's what you want to get out of your head, at least in the way we're explaining it. I can create videos for leads, and I could do call to action videos, and we do. If you visit my site, you'll be retargeted with a few of them. But it's a brand building tool. That's what we're using it for in the real estate industry. It's a referral-based business. So we have to stay in communication with our audience, with our database, with our people that are responsible for sending us referrals, repeat business, and doing business with us in the future. That's what we're doing it for, because if you stop talking to your significant other, what's going to happen? You're going to get a divorce and they're going to cheat on you. Well, when you stop talking to your database, the same damn thing's going to happen. And you want to approach your video marketing campaign no differently than you would like direct mail farming. Direct mail farming's been around since the dinosaurs ruled the earth. And how it works. I've done so many different podcasts with people all over the place, and I could tell you straight up, everyone has the same stats. And typically, how a direct mail, how a farming campaign works with direct mail is, you pick an area, 200 doors, 500 doors, whatever it may be. And after year one, you spend a direct mail piece to that neighborhood, and it shows up on their doorstep every single month. Year one, you might get 1 to 2 listings. Year two, you'll see 5 to 7. Year three, it starts going 7 plus, maybe 10, 12. And the reason why that occurs is because the people who live in that neighborhood, when you keep showing up and communicating with them over time, they start to realize and say, hey, that's that real estate guy. That's his neighborhood. He knows this neighborhood more than anything. And then they start seeing your face, and they start seeing your other content. They start seeing you in a grocery store. And it's consistent communication that makes the farming campaign work. Well, we're doing the exact same thing with video, but the only thing that's different with video is whom we're targeting. I would much rather target my database, my friends, family, aunts, uncles, anyone that has the ability to do or refer me business. And that's going to come from the relationships you have in life. However, if you're farming a camp, if you're farming a market, or you could still farm with video. So, look at your audiences like we spoke about last week. The primary audience is always going to be the people that know, like, trust, and love you first and foremost. But my point is on this slide here is that if I did direct mail for, 15 months and I decided to take 4 months off, did I just screw up the previous whole campaign? Probably. That's how important consistency is. And you'll never be consistent with video if you're not excited about your process or what you're creating content on. You'll push it off. You'll kick the can down the road like so many other people do. That's why that first training was so important. So what we're going to do is walk you through a bunch of different types of videos, and then you can see what they sort of look like. Now, I believe the sound is going to come on out here. And what we're going to do here is walk you through just a couple different videos, and I'll sort of let it play in the background while we talk through it. But this is a case study, right? So how much house can I afford case study? This is a mortgage broker and a real estate agent teamed up together, and they created a case study on a client that they both helped out. And they just basically walked through the scenario, as you see right here, step by step. They're in the Denver market. And oftentimes one of the things that I can't stand personally with real estate agents is when they are always posting just listed, just sold. It's not cool to brag about how much money you made, but it is cool to tell a story about the people you served. So I just challenge you to, if you thought about how much more attention would your brand get if you started saying, hey, this 45-year-old single dad just got his daughter her first owned bedroom. And guess what? They're owning, and his payment's $300 less than it was when he was renting. Here's how. That's called a case study. So you could create case studies and get testimonials on video. You can just tell the story, but there's so many different types of case studies that you can go out there and create. See, a case study is nothing more than what every HGTV show is, except those case studies are about 30 to 60 minutes long. They're full out productions. We're doing the exact same thing, but anywhere between a 4 to 7 minute video in this exact case. So what they're doing here is just walking people through just exactly how they created and backed into a monthly payment and helped out one of their clients and how they qualified and all of that. So it's very important that this style video could apply anytime you have a really cool story to tell, right? And it's just an easy way to go off and do it. Now, as we go through these different videos, I'm going to give you the pros and cons of each of them. So these videos will have pros and cons to them, but regardless of what you're creating, everything's going out to your database, and we're going to cover the distribution part, but you're always going to post content and make sure everyone that you know sees it. And then you're going to multi-purpose it to other places, and we're going to cover that. But for this type of video, the pros and cons are, these are really easy to create. You're just telling me the story that you got paid on, essentially, right? So you know it very well. Content's very easy to script. You could shoot these at a house. You could shoot these on a green screen. You could shoot these at your desk. The key is having the story and having the right, format for it so that people understand it and people follow it. It's very good for authority. It's good for conversion content. I love case studies on like review pages on websites. Very effective for that. And just think about when you hire a service, a lot of times one of the most visited pages on your site, at least on mine, is my reviews pages, because people, before they schedule a demo with us to interview us for their video marketing, they're also looking to make sure what other people say about us. So for a case study, the way you multi-purpose this content down the road, it's good for core content and it's good for conversion content and our social proof. But don't expect a ton of views on YouTube. If your whole strategy for video marketing is going to be, I want to blow up my YouTube channel, well, this is probably not the right type of video to do, unless you have some really interesting things like dead bodies under houses, really crazy, like ghosts in a house like that. Unless it's something compelling like that, chances are you're probably not going to get a big YouTube following on that. So these are the different things you sort of weigh out when you're looking at, okay, why am I creating content? What's the purpose of the content I'm creating? Am I doing it to build a brand, or am I doing it to attract new clients? But there's so many different ways to go. That answer will be different for everybody. So let's check out another video right here. This is an agent in Orlando.
What's up, rock stars? Today we're going to go check out one of Orlando's most historic and arguably its most colorful neighborhoods. You ready? Let's roll.
So he has a series called Touring 4, and the name brand of his team, as you see on screen right here, is the Rockstar Home Team. Makes sense for a rock star to have a series called Touring 4, because that's what rock stars do. But because we've developed and identified what the strategy is, everything he does will be on tour: home tours, neighborhood tours, bar tours, music venue tours. It doesn't matter. The theme's been created, but he'll never run out of things to say. Now, I love doing neighborhood videos. I love being on site. There's a lot of benefits to doing these types of videos, but there's also some pros and cons to them. So what we're going to do is walk you through exactly what all of those pros and cons are. So pros and cons for neighborhood tours. Now, it's one of the best videos you can absolutely do, no doubt. They can do really good on YouTube. If you keyword it correctly and you cover a neighborhood that gets a lot of love and views, well, yeah, you could get thousands of views on this. And on Facebook, people like these too. People like seeing the tour. They like the personality to come out. So they do extremely well on both YouTube and Facebook in terms of engagement. Definitely one of the best videos to do. But the negative part about a neighborhood tour is it takes the most amount of time to create. Unfortunately, that's why we don't get enough of them for many of our clients. Because you're that video, you're going to go on the neighborhood, you're going to go on site, and you're going to take us on like a walking tour. You're going to show us around different aspects. Now, you could also create these videos in studio and in even on a green screen, but you got to have the footage or the B-roll of the neighborhood to pull it off. So there's a lot of ways you can shoot these and get them done. It's all just based on comfort level, but no doubt neighborhood tours, neighborhood community videos are definitely one of the best videos you can do. Next one you see here is a business owner interview. So
my name is Melissa DeSantis with eXp Realty, and welcome to another episode of Mama Redefined, the one show that focuses on everything. And
so in this case, this is a business owner interview, and you guys have probably seen some agents that have done business owner interviews. Now, this has another very specific strategy. I see these work differently in different markets. The key is, what are the right business owners interviews to do for you? The show you're looking at right here is called Monmouth Redefined. And obviously this is a pop-up business in the Christmas season. So they redefine what they offer there. It makes a lot of sense to be on brand, but this is also the whole local celebrity strategy, right? You might've heard that term used in many trainings or from other trainers that are teaching a lot of the same stuff that we do, but business owner interviews are great for brand. The key is to make sure you do the right ones. If you recall from the first training, we walked you through a couple different shows, a couple different, show concepts. And if you're going to do businesses, well, make sure they're on brand is all my only advice. So for example, if you were a military brand, make sure you do veteran owned businesses. If your brand is based on you being a parent or a mom or a dad, make sure you interview kid-friendly restaurants or kid-friendly businesses or parent-friendly businesses. If your whole brand is based on being a single bachelor and all you do is chase women, well, you know what type of content you're going to create, the nightlife, the nightclubs, the bars, and all of that. You see, what business owners you'll create interviews on are going to be based upon what your brand is. Remember, the videos you create enhance your brand. That's what we're after right here. So once you dial in the show, you could see what type of businesses that you would cover or that your brand would cover. That's the key for doing the entire damn thing and not running out of content to say. A very popular show that you may know of, Diners, Dives, and Drives with Guy Ferrari. That's a food show. Okay, a lot of people have seen it on the Food Network. But what kind of food is he covering? He's covering very specific niche of food. He's not interviewing 5-star Michelin restaurants. He's going after the grease pits of America and hangover food for dudes. So it's very on brand for him. So you got to figure out what that is for you. So let's go through some of the pros and cons. Again, this is the local celebrity strategy. Really good on Facebook. Just don't do boring businesses. Like, don't go out there and interview a mortgage broker. It's way too boring, or a home inspector or an attorney. Those things are just so boring. People don't watch them as much. But when you interview restaurants or pop-up events or places people generally go for social or have fun, you get a lot better engagement, and you want to create the content on the new places that open up in your community, or equally as the staples of your community. We've seen some clients get up to 10,000 views on Facebook for a business owner interview. And it's because community supports community. All right. Now, if your goal is to blow up your YouTube channel, don't expect to do it with business owner interviews. That's just typically not the type of video that is going to get tens of thousands of views and just turn into a ton of business. It's just not the way that it works. I love this strategy for database nurturing, right? I love it for networking with future referral sources. See, business owners are just future referral sources. And when people say you want to attract your like client, well, you're creating content on businesses you support because you agree with their positioning. That's what, so of course you're going to attract the same type of client because you're creating television commercials for future referrals. That's what these business owners do. They share the living daylights out of these videos and they get you more eyeballs for you. So lots of good stuff with it. Just make sure, like I said earlier, you keep it interesting. So let's go ahead and look at another type of video strategy, which is based around YouTube.
Are you thinking about living in Cheyenne? So today, I'm going to share with you the good, the bad, and the windy of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Hi, I'm Stan Hartzler with Double H Home Loans. Welcome to the newest. So Stan is a mortgage broker, and he just moved to Wyoming, Cheyenne, Wyoming, and he doesn't have anyone there. He doesn't have a database. So it makes a lot of sense for him to go after YouTube clients. The name of his show is called Why Not, like Why Not Wyoming. And everything around the content that he's going to create is going to be based to rank on YouTube. He's creating content that people search for on YouTube, and he wants to generate relocation clients, which he will. This strategy, literally, he's already got over 1,000 views on a couple of different videos. And if you want to see, you could just go to YouTube and type in living in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and you should see him pop up first right there and see all the videos he's created. He's only been creating content for like a month, but his goal is very specific, right? He's looking for lead generation. So there's a very specific type of video that series he'll be running with. So let's go through some of the pros and cons on this. This strategy you may or may not have seen before, but there's a couple people teaching it. We script edit and distribute these videos for different people around the country too. And I could tell you exactly what to create. 99.9% of the leads that come off of these videos will be buyer relocations. And the reason for that is because when people are moving, relocating, one, they're not being referred to anyone. And two, they're trying to get a visual cue of what the hell's going on in that neighborhood. I moved across the country 5 years ago, and I found myself on YouTube exploring what California and San Diego looks like and all of that, because I want to see what the real estate looked like. I want to see what the strip looked like. I want to see what the beaches look like. So it's the same exact thing here. You want to do the exact same thing. You're creating a lot of content that is very community focused. Cost of living in, top 3 neighborhoods in,
where to live in, and you're doing this for a specific strategy. Now, I do love the strategy because I think if you get there first, and if your market's not that competitive, you could generate, there's agents that are crushing it and lenders are crushing it on the strategy. We have people that are closing every month, multiple clients from this. So it's very, very effective. And the thing though with it is that it's not the most fun content to create. A lot of it will feel repetitive, pros and cons of living in Encinitas, California. Encinitas, good, bad, and ugly. Moving to Encinitas and the 8 things you need to know. So the content, a lot of it will feel a little repetitive, but you're playing a different game. You're playing an SEO game. You're trying to generate clientele from YouTube, and the strategy's out of the bag. There's so many of these different videos that you can create, but they're all going to be focused around living in or moving to, or neighborhoods in, or tours work really good with this as well. So it does feel a little bit repetitive. Now, these videos we see is that when our clients post them up on Facebook, and you're not sharing the YouTube link, so I'm not saying share the YouTube link on Facebook, you upload the video organically. They don't generally get as many comments as, say, like a neighborhood tour or business owner interview would, but they're going to outperform on YouTube all the time, right? So we have a lot of people who like to start with this strategy, but again, regardless of how we're putting videos on YouTube, put all of them on YouTube. You always multi-purpose your content on YouTube. Why not? But how it performs on YouTube will be totally different. It's all about what type of content you're creating and then how you want it to perform when you multi-purpose it. All the content goes in front of your database, but how you multi-purpose it is what changed. The strategy won't be available pretty much in every single market. If your market is competitive and there's a lot of agents already creating this content, expect an uphill battle. You might never get to the top and get those results. But if you're in a market where no one's doing it, hell yeah, I would do it in a heartbeat. If you don't have a large population, don't expect 200,000 views. It's all based upon search and then competition. But the strategy is very effective.
So you're thinking about moving to the San Antonio area and look for someone to give you the bottom line of what it's really like? We'll hope. Will you excuse me for a second? Real estate is a side hustle.
So obviously this guy likes to have a little bit of fun. He's hilarious. He's very funny on video, and he's creating real estate content, but he's doing it in a funny way. And this is the 15 buyer commandments not to do. So he's having a good time with it. He does a lot of green screen stuff. He's always dressing up in character. And real estate content you can have fun with, but you can also keep it very professional. You don't have to do anything super duper crazy with it either. But there are pros and cons of real estate content. And the type of content I'm talking about are going to be the closing costs, city name closing costs, how to buy and sell at the same time, your home seller marketing plan, how to determine your budget, how to pick the right neighborhood, stuff like that. Your core content that you would give in, say, a listing presentation or a buyer's presentation. So let's go through the pros and cons of creating real estate content. It's going to be the least engaged content you're going to get typically, unless you're doing stuff like that. Usually it's get the least amount of comments, least amount of views on YouTube and Facebook. Most real estate content on YouTube doesn't show. Okay. The type of process like content, I guess. Don't expect your channel to blow up. Just getting out there and talking about real estate isn't going to make you the next YouTube celebrity, in my opinion. It's a very hard battle. You got to create content that people are going to be searching for. However, it's really good for conversion and authority. This is the core content that's on your site. We have a lot of people who create, and even on our site, we created a buyer learning center, a seller learning center, a VA learning center. Each of these learning centers have different videos within them, up 5 to 6 videos per learning center. And all of them are there just to educate. So this is the type of content you use over and over again. You send to clients when you're in conversation. So you use it as conversion. You could also use it on ads. And you only got to create this kind of stuff once, but it definitely, you want to have this up on your site. I think is the most effective place to multi-purpose it. Don't expect a ton to perform off of your YouTube channel. If that's the goal, that's not the right strategy, more than likely. But again, Doesn't mean you don't put it in front of your database as well. So point being is that those are 5 of the most common types of videos people do, but there's plenty more. You could be doing React videos. You could be doing like real estate, what you get for the money videos. You could be doing blooper videos. There's no shortage of content to create, but you'll get an idea off of how that part works. So what we're going to do now is focus on how you script for a little bit, and then we're going to get into content distribution, and then we'll get this training wrapped up, because the next question we always get is, well, how am I going to script all of this different type of content, Mike? This is crazy. I can't script all this stuff. Who's going to write these for me? Well, truth is that I'm just going to walk you through the basics of scripting and show you sort of how it works, but you probably already know how to do this, is the truth. And when you're creating content and you're building a show in this way, your scripts are going to have a format to them. Remember, we're not selling your stuff, but every video is going to have the same components to it. And it's much like how you would write a letter, or how you would write a book report or an essay even. And I want you to go back to the time and think and remember back when you were in school. And when you were in school, your teacher, if I was writing a letter, my attention getter was Dear Mike, or dear to whomever it was addressed for, right? Well, attention getter in a video is going to be, if you want to blank and blank, then blank and blank. Okay. If you really want to get the biggest bang for your buck, you got to do it in this neighborhood right here. Facebook came out with a stat that said 74% of people will decide to watch your video or not in the first, 7 seconds. So the last thing I like doing on a video is saying, hi, I'm Mike Cuevas, and I've been in the business for years. Click, I'm gone. You got to get the attention. Tell me what's in it for me. Make it interesting, right? These are the biggest blueberries in all of California. Great. Don't need it. Short and sweet. But every video has an attention getter. Every video will also have an introduction. Tell me what I'm watching and give me a preview why it's important. An introduction to a letter would be, hey, I'm writing to you because I think blank, 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 and my name is blank, and I wanted to give you a couple of reasons of why I wanted to blank, blank, blank. It's an introduction, right? In a video, I would say, hey, what's up, guys? It's Mike Cuevas with another episode of North County Vibes. And what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to show you one of the best places in North County to get a burger. Now, if you like burgers, you're going to see that in San Diego, there's not a ton of amazing burger places. Everyone here is all fit and doesn't like to eat like me, but it doesn't mean they don't exist. You just need to know where to go. What we're going to do here is show you one of the best kept secrets in all here. We're going to go inside and check it out right now. God, that's an intro, right? So every video will have an introduction. All right. Now, the body of your video is going to be the core content of your supporting arguments. If you think back to the time when people were, when you're in school, remember your teachers would say, all right, give me 3 supporting arguments to your essay, or give me 5 reasons why. That's the body. That's your core content. So if I'm creating content on a neighborhood, I'm focusing on those 4 body points or 3 points of the body I'm making. Maybe scene 1 is, all right, so I wanted to show you exactly why people love living in this neighborhood. And right there is the very cute downtown. That is the number 1 reason. See, where I'm standing is just a couple minutes away from where I'm going to show you most beautiful houses. But did you know that there's over 12 different restaurants, all bits of shopping, public transportation, and just about everything you're going to want to do right here, right? So the body would have a breakdown of the core arguments of your point, right? And every video is going to have them. They support why you're there. If you're doing a tour, you're breaking down your tour in the body. If you're doing a business owner interview, you're doing your questions, you're showing them how they make their food in the kitchen, then you're tasting their food. If you're doing a piece of real estate content, you're giving all the reasons and education of why this is important. And then eventually at the end, you're going to get to an outro. All right. So hope that helps. If you have any additional questions or you need help doing this, you can reach me. My contact information is blank, 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 blank. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Look at some of my other videos on my site. Thank you so much for calling, Real Estate Dudes. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace. I'm out. Short, sweet, to the point, but you're still going to have an outro. The video doesn't just stop. But if you look at this, it's a tension getter, intro, body, outro, tension getter, intro, body, outro, tension getter, intro, body, outro. That outline, you can write any script you want. The key is, what's your content going to be? That's why you create a show. So if you guys have more or questions on this, feel free to message me on the site. You can send me some messages on social. We have hundreds and hundreds of these scripts. We cater them to different types of videos, but in general, they all have the same thing in common, and that's what it is. So the key here is that regardless of what you're going to script, every video is going to go in front of your database. Every video is going to go in front of people that have the ability to do business with you or refer business to you or repeat business back with you. But you're going to multi-purpose them for lead generation and brand. Every single one. Think long-term, not short. Every one of your videos will live on your YouTube channel forever. They'll live on your website forever. Look at YouTube as a search engine because that's exactly what it is. Your website hosts videos forever. I highly recommend a site that you own that doesn't have a huge monthly fee, because once you start creating content, it's going to live there for the entirety of your brand's existence. Longer lasting impressions leads to more referrals. It definitely leads to more repeat business. And think of all of your content creation as a library of content down the road that you can get to repurpose. On my site, I have a video on every single page. That's not anything more than to connect with people. That's my number one goal. That's the only thing I want it there for. I want to connect. I want you to build trust. I want to see if we're the right fit. And if we are, great, let's do business together. But if not, that's okay too. I'm a dude and not everyone's going to get along with me. That's how it works, folks. So let's break down the distribution sort of step by step, and we'll get this training wrapped up, because what we're not doing is just creating videos that let them die in a news feed and then people forget about them in 3 days. If you're going to invest in video content marketing, content creation, you need to maximize and distribute these videos so you get the most amount of mileage out of them. So first thing we always recommend doing is video emailing your videos to your database. Get rid of the market updates, get rid of the turn back the clocks and all the crap content. Start creating content that people actually want to see. With video email, we get them way higher open rates. We average over 40% in most cases, which is very high. It's a lot higher than the national average, but it's for two reasons. One, we're not sending out crap content. And two, we're sending it to the right people. What we're not doing is spamming an email list of people we have no idea who they are. But what we are doing is nurturing a database of people that know, like, trust, and love us, that all have the ability to refer, do business with us. Again, if you're doing 2 videos a year or a month, you do that for 12 months in a year, it's 2 videos a month over 12 months, 24 in a year, to that same list, which will grow over time. Will you do more business? Because 10 to 15% of people on that list are moving, but 100% of them have a referral for you. And the answer is absolutely. For your social platforms, you're going to distribute your videos on all your social platforms. And upload each organically. So if you're on Instagram, then put your videos on Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, then don't put them on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, put your videos on Facebook. But if you're not on Facebook, don't put them on Facebook. If you're on Pinterest, put your videos on Pinterest. Put your videos also on your business page, but upload both organically. The point being is that anywhere that you're on social media, 10 to 15% of the people who see your video content are moving, and 100% of them have a referral for you. Those are the 2 numbers I want to ingrain in your heads, because once you start chasing attention, that's when attraction occurs. When you upload these videos to your social platforms, you're always going to upload them organically. Don't share the YouTube link on social media, on Facebook. Take the video and upload it organically. You'll get more mileage traditionally on the platforms. Couple things to look out for: TikTok and Reels on Facebook, short form content, something that's coming up. Excuse me, your website. So highly recommend putting all the content back on your website. I like to take every video and turn it into a blog post. So I like to put the video on top of my page on the site, and then I like to take do a little bit of a write-up or some blog content to put down below it, because you want to multi-purpose everything. And over time, your content on your site will grow. Same concept though. The agent that has, or lender that has 24 videos on their site, a page on every site, well, they're going to convert a lot more website leads than the one that doesn't have a site or doesn't have any video content on the site. So you want to just make sure you multi-purpose there. People don't go to your website to look up real estate for sale, in my opinion. They're going to your website to see if they trust, know, and can see themselves getting in a car with you while they look at houses for the next unforeseeable future. That's the truth, folks. So become more marketable, multi-purpose that content, put it back on your website, because that's where people will ultimately visit you at. And last and not least, everything should go on YouTube, but not everything's going to perform on YouTube. What you're seeing here is a gentleman in Palm Springs that does very well on YouTube, but look at all of his videos. They're all very community centric. So he's created a lot of YouTube related content. He's following a YouTube strategy, and every video will go on YouTube, but not every video will perform on YouTube. So it's just something you want to think about before you start your strategy. Why am I doing this? Is YouTube part of my game or not? And adjust accordingly. So every video put on YouTube. Now, how YouTube works is, and I hinted at it a little bit earlier, but I want to show this to you guys for a little bit, is that the only type of content that we've seen perform really well is going to be living in or moving in, living in or moving in. So in that case, you see living in Las Vegas, moving to Las Vegas. People are typing in these different words, and those are typically, for whatever reason, that YouTube tends us to put up. So you don't create content for YouTube that you think is cool. You create content that people search for. All right. So right here, you can see living in Las Vegas, moving to Las Vegas, relocating to Las Vegas. Right. So it's very, very important to do your homework ahead of time. But YouTube's a search engine. All right. So there's so many different types of these videos. I just want to give you a quick screenshot. The pros and cons of living in city name, the cost of living in city name, living in San Diego versus living in Encinitas, new construction in Southern California, the top 3 neighborhoods to live in downtown San Diego, the top 3 neighborhoods to live in North County, San Diego, the top 3 neighborhoods to live in South San Diego, the good, the bad, the ugly of living in San Diego, top 3 things to do when living in San Diego. Relocating, moving, all this type of content. If YouTube becomes your strategy, you want to maximize it. And you just need to know how to upload and optimize it, but most importantly, create the right videos that people search for. And that's the key with YouTube. It's not rocket science, but there's a process to it. And then one other thing I highly recommend is run ads. I'm huge on running ads to your database, your custom audiences, your retargeting audiences. So I love running ads to people who visited my website. I love running ads to people that have engaged with me in the past. I love running ads to people I'm connected with on my pages. And then I love running ads to a custom audience of cell phones and email addresses. They always pencil. And the truth is, the Facebook algorithms right now, your business page, you're going to get less than a 5% reach. Your personal page, you're going to get 15 to 18% from the last Facebook expert on the podcast I had on. And because of that, not everyone's seeing your stuff. So I like running ads to the rest of the audiences so I could get more reach. The more attention you have, the more attraction that will occur. So we'll end this on what's the ROI. So people always ask me, how do you measure video? Remember, in yesterday's training, it's not advertising. It's marketing and attraction and branding. So what you're going to see is that it's very hard to find out what the ROI is, but this is the best way to look at it. And most people I tell is like, unless you're trying to break your YouTube channel, and some people will publish more, but realistically, you got to think how much time you have and how much can you really pull off. If you could do 2 a month for over a year's time, that would equate 24 pieces of content or 24 videos, 24 everything. Okay. Now, the key is you got to take the cost of those videos. How much is all that content going to cost you? Because there's probably going to be a cost. You got to outsource editing. There's companies like ours that exist that can do editing, distribution, and everything. And I don't know what those costs will be, but I'll tell you what ours are. Ours would be $13,000 over the course of a 12-month timeframe. Now, typically, you want to look at, okay, how much real estate do I have to sell to break even? Typically, that's at our numbers. Again, this is just a formula, so you can break these down and just plug in your numbers. But at our numbers, $650,000 at 2.5% is about a break-even point. So The question becomes, if you had 24 videos, video emailed to your database, posted on all your social profiles, placed on your site, optimized on your channel, and you ran ads to, could you sell more than $650,000 of real estate or whatever that number would be? And then you could answer the question about, is the ROI going to be beneficial? The only time, folks, I've seen video not work is when people don't like you. But if that's the case, you're in the wrong damn business. Look at the big picture when you're building a brand, because you don't build a brand with strangers. You build a brand based upon relationships, because the strangers eventually communicate back, and you have to do it over time through consistent communication. So I love taking on a multi-pronged approach, and I love incorporating direct mail. But let's just look at the big picture. Let's just say I had a database, a list of past clients, friends, family, aunts, uncles, wedding list, if you will, of people, and I hit them with direct mail once a month. Let's say I had and out of that list, say I had 150 people. If I'm sending them a postcard a month, 10 to 15% of them are moving, 100% of them are every referral from me. If I'm doing 2 videos a month, I'm video emailing those videos out to another list. That's probably going to have 150, 250 people on it. And then I'm posting all those videos to social media, and then I'm running ads to the rest of my custom audiences on social media. This is what attraction is, but you got to keep consistent with it, because it's nothing more than a big game of attention. So I really hope that helped clear up distribution, scripting. We have a lot of other content. Feel free to visit us on our website, but we really appreciate you guys taking the training and watching the whole 4-step class we have going on here with BrandFace. And if there's any other questions that you have that you may need help with, or you need any assistance with, please feel free to visit us or follow us on our social channels. realestatemarketingdude.com. That's realestatemarketingdude.com. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.